Ah, am I audible now? Okay. Weird mic hardware issues. I was actually getting coffee for the first couple minutes, but then I came back and I saw my my microphone wasn't being picked up. That was weird. Okay. Interesting. Anyway, welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? I got my coffee. I got my coffee to keep me going because I got up a little bit too early this morning. So at this point, at this point, I'm running low on energy, so I got coffee. I got coffee. You want some coffee? I'm going to go ahead and announce the stream on Discord. One moment. I used to not be a coffee drinker. Any coffee drinkers in the chat? Like a year ago, or even like 4 months ago, I was not a coffee drinker. And then I got an espresso machine. My parents found an espresso machine for like $20, and I've been using it like a lot. Like a lot. You don't like coffee? Yeah, it's not for everyone. I can tell you my, like, the way I make it. Oh, one sec, let me announce this. Let's share this on Discord just so everyone knows. I make the espresso that I do. I have it hot or cold. It's pretty good cold. In like a jar, like a mason jar, if you want it, like an iced one of these. But I just do. You get like the cheapest fucking what do you call it? The goddamn cheapest hot chocolate powder, and then you get whatever coffee you like. I've been drinking Cafe Bustelo. It's not the best, but it's cheap. So a scoop of hot cocoa powder, 2 shots of espresso, and then just some milk, and it's like a mocha latte. It's pretty good. For those, that's how I kind of weaned myself onto coffee, because I don't like coffee just straight up. But if I make it sweet and like chocolate, it's pretty good. Some extra caffeine. I used to get so many energy drinks, and I just decided it's cheaper. It's more cost efficient to just make coffee instead. A lot of sugar, no milk. I can see that. I still drink the occasional energy drink because I want something fizzy and cold. Makes me wonder if I like soda stream. If I make like an iced coffee and I soda stream it, I know it would go everywhere, but it's probably good. I don't know. Who knows? I am not I do not have everything open for the stream, so let me do that real quick. In fact, let me get a soundtrack. Dude, I might do Factorio Space Age soundtrack again. I feel like that was pretty good last time. I should do a Soda stream. I don't have a Soda... Actually, yeah, I don't have a Soda stream. Last time I used one was at my parents' house. Chocolate syrup in it? Oh, that sounds good. I might try chocolate syrup instead of like powdered hot cocoa mix. I feel like that would probably be better. Or let's see, soundtracks. I keep saying I want to like do Twitch streams at some point, just games on Twitch, but I have not. We're gonna hit one of these. I don't know how loud that is. It'll probably get louder down the line. We get the ominous Factorio music now. Let me get everything set up. I'm sorry that I'm not ready to go. I can explain this issue if anyone cares to listen to my gripes with Linux. As much as I like Linux, there's an equal amount of things that that frustrate me. Here we go. There we go. Whoops. Oh, why is this not working now? Oh no, everything is broken. Open selector. No, it's not working. What the Christ? Shit, dude. No screen, I know. No, Linux strikes again. It's something to do with pipe wire. I don't know how all that works. Let me see if I can do this. I don't want to... Let me turn the music down just a little bit. I know it's back. I switched over. I tried to get Blender to show up, but my display capture is not working. That's weird. Let's see. It was showing the display thing earlier. Let me just, like, delete this. One sec. Sorry for the black screen. We're gonna... Okay. Bear with me while you look at a black screen for just a sec. Add screen, capture, pipe wire. It's not worky. Why it's not worky? Can I use this instead? X composite. Yes. We'll try X composite instead. Blender. Yeah, there we go. Pipe, that was some real intense music. How it should look in caves in cartoons when there's no light source. I gotta figure what out, whatever that was. I'm glad that, Alright, so I can explain my Blender gripes while this intense Factorio music is playing in the background. I, use Debian Linux, which comes with all sorts of... I mean, Windows comes with all sorts of problems. Debian comes with its own problems. There's no winning in the world of computers. As much as people like to shit on one and say the other is better, there is no winner. What do you call it? Okay, this is too intense. You know what? I'm doing some more... Fuck it, we're doing Terraria. Keep shuffle on. That soundtrack was way too intense. So Linux, right? There's this thing called a display manager that you need to run anything besides like a terminal. And there's a display manager called X11 and one called Wayland. And Wayland is the new one that everyone says, "Oh, you should use this one. That's like the best one to use." And then when I try to load OBS, like the chat doesn't show up and like the viewer count, I don't see it. And then it's a nightmare to get working. So I have to use the X11 display manager, which works. Everything works on it. I don't know why everyone says use Wayland. Use Wayland. I don't know. I'm just never using Wayland until it works with OBS because I stream just often enough that it's detrimental to me. Anyway, welcome to the stream, everyone. I'll complain about computers at any point if anyone wants to hear that. And also my Pipewire thing. Pipewire is the thing, not the one that I'm using right now, but it's a way to capture a display or capture a window so I can show it in OBS. Pearl's expressions in this episode are so funny. I made the point that it's the same storyboard artist as in... Let me move this a little bit so I can extend it. Same storyboard artist as Joking Victim, which I think the best part of that episode was the faces. Raven M. Molisi. This is way too loud on my end. I don't know how it is for you guys, but this soundtrack is a little bit much. Let's look at some of Pearl's like funny expressions. Let's see. I can see them in the thumbnail. Now I got a Blender update. I don't know if anyone noticed last stream, but there's a Blender update, and there's some great Pearl expressions here. She is great. I have trouble picking between Amethyst and Pearl as like favorite character. I do think Amethyst wins out most of the time because she's fun. She's the fun gem. Lacrimal. Sure, her healing lacrimal essence. I don't know what lacrimal means. I feel like it has something to do with tears. Tear ducts. It sounds a little bit too much like lactose. And with Rose Quartz having the biggest bazongs of the whole show, my brain goes to weird places. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Pearl's weird faces. And her clinging. She's a freak in this. She's like freaking out. She's not a freak. She may be a freak, but she's losing it in this episode. Prefer Amethyst because you like her character arc. And how she decides to not make her problem Stevens in future episodes. I like the part where there's a certain... what episode was it? Where Amethyst is like, well, you're the most mature crystal gem. Or, yeah, Steven said that to Amethyst. And it's so true. It's such a good line because she really is like the best character at that point in the show. Garnet's just holding it all together, kind of. I'm sure as a fusion, she's got to like really focus to keep herself together in crisis situations like this. More good Pearl. Garnet's just like, sure. That's a good face. That reminds me of the, what do you call it? What's Your Problem was the episode? I forget what that, the season 5 is very much a blur because season 5 is the season that I have watched the least. There's so many good episodes in 1, 2, and 3 that I end up watching 1, 2, and 3 over and over, and season 5 kind of... It gets left behind sometimes when I watch this show. Garner doesn't have to stay fused. I assume that's autocorrect. I'm sure she does have to think about it sometimes. Let's look at this one. I like broken amethyst is goofy and I like it. The blinking unevenly is cool. It's clear she's stressed in this episode, just more repressed about it. Yeah. I think because she's stressed, she's just not talking, because she has to have that internal conversation of, like, keep it together, this is all gonna be, it's all gonna work out, and, yeah. I feel like a gem couldn't fuse if, it was cracked, so if, like, Garnet cracks one of her hand gems, then she would just come unfused, I think. I don't know, there's no way to know. Who knows, maybe Lars of the Stars, one of the gems of fucking, what's her name, Fluorite, will pop off. Not in a good way, they'll, like, pop out of the fusion, I mean. There's corrupted fusions, are there? I guess the bird monster in Giant Woman is a fusion. A fusion of shards. That might be different, though. I don't know. There's no broken... Oh, yeah, the corrupted Jasper fuses. But there's no broken gems that fuse. Except for the shards that are, like, forced fusions. I don't know. Don't know how none of that works. We'll get to that in future episodes. Actually, when is the first, like, crusty gem fusion episode? Like, the shard fusion, rather. Keeping It Together, that's the one. That's season 2, episode 7. That's a long ways off, Jesus. I wonder if Fluorite has a weapon. I don't know. Probably several. I'm gonna guess there's some rubies in there. It looked like there was a peridot. Surely they won't keep Fluorite's backstory from us. Yeah, I don't think they would. If they're making this whole show to, like, to explore backstories and all that, then I feel like they would have to do... If they're doing the backstory of, like, the Gem Empire, like it says in the only description that we have, then I feel like they'd have to do character backstories. I feel like characters are the reason people watch Steven Universe. I don't see people watching it for the action or for the, maybe some people do it for the lore, but most people that I have ever talked to or seen in the comments or whatever say they watch it mostly for character moments. I think that goes for most media, actually. Unless it's something like John Wick, like that stands on its own. Like, who cares about what Mr. John is, going through other than his dog getting killed. Hold on, I gotta fix something. Some of you might appreciate me for this. Maybe I'm the only one who notices it, but 3, 2, 1. There we go. It wasn't centered. You do know there's a huge demand for more Steven Universe lore. We will all definitely get. Yeah, I feel like that's what was missing. I know all of Future was character moments, and there was zero lore. Like, absolutely no lore introduced in that show. But I feel like... I'm really hoping. I've said it before. I don't like Future. Like, we'll get there at some point, and people are gonna hate me when I make those videos. But or who knows, maybe I'll rewatch them and find some appreciation. I'll sure I'll find something that I like about them, but for the most part, I don't like Future, and I'm hoping that Lars of the Stars is kind of the opposite of what we got for that, because we missed out on a ton of like gem shit and lore and backstories and stuff. We only just got to focus on Steven crashing out. Sorry to use that phrase, but that's what was happening. Let's look at this animation real quick. There's Pearl lore. That's pretty much all we got, though, isn't it? Whoa. Someone make that their profile picture. Hope Lars of the Stars is a full series too, not just one season. I feel like for an adventure show, they can't just do one season. Like how, that's especially something as grand as Steven Universe. I know, one of my other favorite shows, is Over the Garden Wall, which was one season and kind of an adventure. It was more of like a mystery, but I think Over the Garden Wall did kind of an adventure well as one season, but Steven Universe is like there's like a huge scale to everything. Look at this face. Garnet makes this face in the next episode too. Actually, Pearl makes the same face, I think. The issue is that the Steven only perspective really causes issues like there were so many things left unanswered or underutilized. I think that was just the case for the whole show. The whole show in Future kind of exacerbated that. Yeah, Lars was Rebecca Sugar's like first character when she started developing this show, wasn't he? Lars and Sadie were created like before the Steven or the Gems were, I think. Rose and Lars are the worst characters in the show. How fucking dare you? I love Rose Quartz. I am a Rose Quartz apologist. I don't think the reason people think she's the worst character or that she has like shitty points in her history is because we see her character development in the show backwards. Like you see the first time you see her on the tape is when she's like been through her whole life and she's ready to fucking die for Steven's existence. And then you just step backwards through her progression at her maturity. And by the very end of the series, you're seeing her as like this shitty child, basically. But yeah, Lars I think was annoying until he died and came back. I'll give you that one. I still want my Rose Quartz Seinfeld. That's what I want. That's my spinoff that I want. Rose Quartz sitcom with Greg. The Patrick Star Show, but Rose Quartz. The Crystal Gem Star Show. Oh, this is a good frame. We need an episode of Rose where we saw her character development reverse. Someone made that into a YouTube video. They took all the Pink Diamond Rose Quartz scenes in the whole show, and they played them in chronological order, and you can see like how she progresses like maturity wise. It's really interesting. I would watch it on stream, but the stream would get demonetized pretty quickly. The idea that they did it reversed was kind of cool. I agree. I think that's really... I don't think anyone has shown character progression backwards. I mean, I'm sure you'd have to write that character in chronological order and then just, like, take those beats and then play them out of order. And her, like, dying for Steven to exist is not her, like, running from her responsibility or anything. That's her feeling, hey, Earth is safe. We haven't seen any contact with Homeworld for 5,000 years. I'm gonna do this funny thing where I give birth to a child. I know it's not funny, but, like, you know, I want to do this human experience, basically. I think Garnet was boring too in the first season. I can agree with that. I think Garnet doesn't do much at all until Jailbreak. Until her big reveal. She's just kind of like the stoic, like, strong woman character. There's a point where Amethyst has no head and 3 feet. Kinda strange. Rose likes Earth life and she wanted to embrace it. Yeah. And again, she didn't know that any gem shit would happen after she gave birth to Steven. There's no way she could have known that. And it's partly Steven's fault. Like, we'll get to Mirror Gem, but when he pulls Lapis out of the mirror, that kind of sets off, like, a domino effect of, like, more gems coming back to Earth. Did you try to type the word condescending and, like, fat-fingered a bunch of letters, or, like, were one letter off? Fake and sindisunding. Yeah, I think your hand was one letter off. I don't know. I could, like, totally see myself doing the same thing. You think White Diamond was just faking her change? I can see that, because she played the long con when, I think she was aware that Pink Diamond had, like, taken this persona of Rose Quartz, so she was ready to just, like, stay in her fucking head spaceship and just wait it out until she decided to come back, and then she realized that she's not going to come back. So I think she could be doing the same thing. I know that's just a headcanon, rampant speculation and all that, but I think that she could be doing the same thing here with Steven, like doing a long con to wait for Steven to, like, stop caring or him to die, and I don't know, before she goes back to her normal, like, normal conqueror, emperor kind of self. They're always going to come eventually for the cluster, but freeing Lapis was the main trigger event. I think freeing Lapis, like, sped up that process, you know? I don't think Peridot would have come as early if they hadn't gotten word that, like, there was a gem on Earth. And then there'd be like, oh, Earth, remember that? We had, like, this big fucking super weapon in there. Do I watch Andor? No, I don't have Disney Plus. I haven't, like, cared for Star Wars, really. Pearl does this, like, covering her face thing a lot. And it's not just when she's not allowed to say something. She just does it, like, a ton. Wait! She's missing a finger. She's missing fingers on both hands. How did I not notice that when I was editing? What the fuck? Whoa. I missed this. I was not paying attention to this happening. Jesus. Unless she's got one, like, curled up down here. I don't know. Wait, can I watch this back and see... See if it... Oh. When do they come back? Whoa. Between frames. There we go. They just pop into existence. Let me see this. Ooh. Okay, that's... I didn't see... She didn't move... That's strange. I feel bad for not seeing that in the episode. Is she doing the Pink said to not say anything about the diamonds? Or is she just covering her mouth out of surprise? Well, she does it a lot of times throughout this episode. Let's look at some clips. Like, right here. And she does this a lot throughout the whole series, too. Let's see when... maybe it's only those 2 times. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's those only 2 times, but it does happen way more and more. Yeah, she might be doing that as, like, a comfort thing. That's, like, the last thing that Rose as Pink Diamond had ever said to her, and she, like, put her hands there. Maybe it is like a subconscious comfort thing. Pearl is known for being dramatic. That is also true. Let's look at this frame. Steven's gonna pop his eyeball out like a zit. Do I have a Lars of the Stars theories? No. I'm not participating in the random speculation. There's some things... I have like a wish list, sure, but... I don't have any theories because we have 0 information about it other than a title and a like 1-sentence description. These videos have been making me think I ought to go back and watch Steven Universe in sync with them, coming out like a book club. I feel like some people in the comments have said that they're doing that. I think it's really cool. I like being the guy like making a TV show that people are coming every week to see, kind of. It's cool that I get to be like the catalyst of that. What is my wish list? Let me think. I definitely want to see more aliens other than gems. I want to see some kind of fucking origin story for the diamonds. Maybe. And I have this feeling that the diamonds are like these construct golem type things. This is my headcanon. Here's a theory that's just kind of overarching thing. Is that the diamonds don't... There's this idea of like AI, like hyper-intelligent AI. I don't think it's AI. I think it is magic. But I think it was a race of aliens creating magical constructs that ended up like taking over, you know? Kind of the same idea of an AI singularity. Sneeple. Yeah, the Sneeple made the diamonds. It's always possible. If we see Sneeple in Lars of the Stars, I'm gonna shit. I don't know. I don't, again, Rebecca apparently called the gems solar-powered robots, but there's so many things that Rebecca Sugar or ENJQ just say that doesn't tie into the story at all. I know it's like straight from the horse's mouth and all that, but if it's not in the show, it doesn't really matter what the creators say. I need to see it before I believe it for anything like that. I love the rampant speculation, but robots is not what I would call the gems. They're like magical constructs. They're golems, basically. Like Talos in Greek mythology. This scene always makes me tear up. Not always, but it's one of those scenes that gets me to that point a lot of the time. And if it's things like, if these writers and showrunners and stuff, they say things during like panels when they're put on the spot and they have to come up with an answer really quick, usually that doesn't stay true for a lot of the time. What if they're magic robots? That's what a golem is. Is that not what a golem is? Like if you cry every time. I wish I could have known you, then this place could make me sad. There's also a part, or wait, there's also another diamond, which is a part of why she became evil. It's Black Diamond. Actually, you can't make the villain black. That's probably, people are going to call racism if they do that. It's Dark Diamond. Yeah, that works. Computer versus statue? Can you not have a computerized statue? A statuized computer? I feel like I have a bunch of statuized computers in my basement that aren't like doing anything. They just sit there and look nice. Actually, they look like shit. Is English a language that was mimicked from gems, or did gems just culturally appropriate American English galaxy-wide? I think they're Star Trek logic, where they have these universal translators that, like, no matter what language an alien species speaks, like, what the gems speak are understandable to whatever alien species they're talking to. Villain is going to be Red Diamond. That's going to be like the non-failed Pink Diamond that they had to like bubble because she was too evil, even more evil than White Diamond when she was evil. Damn. Something gem song. Interesting. Well, I'll go to the gems. Gems power source doesn't really need an answer. They did kind of answer where this world that they built has like actual soul, like life energy, which is what they suck from the ground, which is why nothing can grow in the kindergarten, because all the life energy was sucked out of the planet right there. I'll call it like soul energy because that kind of makes sense. It's like it's a I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's the best like word. I'll end up using that in that episode. Life force, vitality. Well, life force can apply to anything, but like soul energy. Not soul like the sun, but soul like your spirit. Spirit energy. Life, yeah, life force, but life energy. And that's what gems run on, and it's like this eternal energy that always exists. I mean, you see the eternal like life on Earth. There's always life growing somewhere. Like there's no it's hard to find a spot on the whole planet that doesn't have some like little shitty bacteria, literally shitty because it's growing in a lump of dog shit. There's always life somewhere, and in the kindergarten, I think there's just none of that. Can I see this thing where Connie's about to smooch him? I swear to God, Connie's like going in for the smooching. She's gonna drink this, and then she's like all blushing. Having live discussions about early season 1 is nice. Yeah. I think everyone's caught up on new shit, and I like talking about old shit because the old shit's good too. I'll just go in order. When Lars of the Stars is coming out, I'll still be on like season 3 or something. I don't know. We don't know how long it'll be till Lars of the Stars comes out. It could be like 5-6 years from now. Who knows? There's a thing in the art book where they made Connie's face be like a puzzle piece to Steven's. That's fucked. That's strange. I don't think I like that. Reading through Art and Oranges again. I looked at that book and I'm realizing how fucking expensive it is because it's out of print. All the Steven Universe art books are out of print, and it's crazy. Whenever they do a Lars of the Stars ones, I'm going to get it when they're printing it because I don't want to pay $300 for the regular art books. You only have Art and Origins physically, but I like the digital versions too because I can zoom in. They have them on Internet Archive because you can't even really buy digital versions anywhere. I think on Amazon you can. However, Internet Archive exists. It's a public library. I'd rather use the public library than buy a book. In general, I think the exception to wanting to buy a book is when I want to buy like a RPG book, like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or whatever. I haven't bought the new edition, like 5.5 edition of D&D. Are they calling it 5.5? They are calling it 5.5. Okay, that makes sense. Steven Spit can theoretically cure depression or any mental disorder. I always thought of that. That's a weird thing because it's like, is that healing? I brought that up with the eye thing. Like, Connie could have... I'm going to guess that she has like a genetic thing with her eyes because her dad wears glasses too. So is that really healing? Is like changing her genetics to like correct her vision really can you call that healing? If that is healing, then yeah, maybe depression, anxiety, compulsive disorders, any like mental thing could be healing. But that's, I don't know, if you say that too much, that's considered offensive. Like if you said that about someone with autism, that would be just rude, I think. Let's heal your autism. That's just, no, that's not how that works. The damage is psychological. Yes. Okay, that's... He couldn't heal volleyball. That's... it would work exactly then. So you can't do like brain manipulation. That's White Diamond's job. She does the brain manipulation, but she can only make people herself, and she can't do it to humans, I don't think. It didn't cure Lapsus PTSD, that is true. White Diamond can't cure your autism. She can only supplant your brain with her own. Oh, I forgot to mention the reason I have its name. The title is Heat Stroke Edition is because there's like a unbearable heat warning where I live right now. It's like I don't even know what the temperature is. Weather. It says 88. But I feel like whatever it feels like is like way hotter. What was the humidity? I got my AC on pretty tough though. 60 some percent humidity. I went for a walk yesterday and it was hot, but it was really nice. I had like a sleeveless shirt on. I love this face. I love this expression. She's like, whoa. $88 is not that hot. It gets to like 103 sometimes. I feel like in July it'll get up that high where I live. Her earlier expressions. Let me see. Let's see about those. I like her crying. That was kind of cool. That's just a good face. Yeah, this one. I missed it. There we go. Good expression. Like her eyebrows are perfect. She's like focused. She is focused on the story, but like taking it all in. Yeah. Get used to seeing Connie without her glasses after, Oh, wait. This one. These. She's like, oh. And she's like, oh. And then she's like, I want to see this one. She's like weirdly flirtatious. Connie and Peridot show slowly shrinking thoughts. Or throughout the show. Heat index of 110 next week. What state do you live in? Or what, if it's Fahrenheit, then you're in the United States, but where's 110 happening? Is it like Texas? I don't. Let's see. Also, Steven's face when Amethyst asks if he cares about her. Let me see Amethyst's face too during that. Ooh, Steven, I'm gonna fall. Oh, wait. We're playing this in reverse. Let me, like, not scroll. Yeah, there we go. Ohio. That's pretty... That's about as north as I am, but... That's pretty hot for Ohio, I think. That's pretty far north. Arizona, Nevada, Utah, desert area. Ugh. The only time I've been to Nevada is in January for CES. I went there twice, and it's really nice in January. It was like 60 degrees. I went to Death Valley. I took because CES only goes to 4. That's the only convention I've been to in a long time. CES closes at 4. I went with my dad, and we were like, well, we gotta find shit to do while we're like in the area. So we drove 2 hours to Death Valley in the evening when it was like. It was nice and, like, cool in January. Midwestian. I am also a Midwestian. If anyone knows the soda Green River, then you are proper Midwestian. Midwesterner. His nose is fully with the nostrils pointing out to the camera. Yeah, it's like those anime pictures where they have the mouth on the side of their head, but it's his nose. But also his nose is like always like that. Let me see Amethyst's now. Yeah. You care about me? He's like Peppa Pig? True. This face is one of the best faces that Amethyst ever makes, I think. New potential profile picture. I'll put it like right center if you want to crop it. Let me do that. If you want to screenshot that, go ahead. Feel free to screenshot. What was that? That was like an old meme, right? I can make that my profile picture on Discord. Do I know how they forecast the heat index? Not really. I think it's just a combination of heat, like temperature, cloud cover, and humidity, right? Because if there's more cloud cover, then it doesn't feel as hot. Also, so glad I did this. I went and got my car's AC recharged a couple weeks ago, so I can actually use my car in June and July and August. Do I just have the whole episode on standby? Yes, with no audio, so it doesn't get claimed. I got the whole thing ready to go just so we can look at. I'm not gonna play it because it gets visually claimed if you actually let the video play, but I will pause on whatever frame that people want to talk about. This is the best look at rose quartz that you get up to this point in the show. The unique faces were definitely the good part of the show being off-model. I think any show that, even if they stay on model, they can do cool faces. Like if a show that I always reference for staying on model like all of the time is The Simpsons. Like throughout Simpsons history, you look at Homer, he's pretty much the same no matter what episode you look at. But his faces, like the fucking what do you call it? I'm thinking the Halloween special where they do the shinning. Is it the shinning? The shinning. Yeah. Not the shining, the shinning. Let me just, can I show my window? No, it doesn't work. Okay. I don't know why that's not working, but I can only show Blender. Steven used to be stockier in early season 1, and now by the end he's a tiny ball. That is, yeah, it's, I don't know what point he just turns into like a little, I was gonna say goblin, but that's not the right term. He's like a gnome. He's got gnome proportions. But in season 1, he's just like a fat kid. He's like a normal human-looking fat kid. He gets dexterized. Whoa. I've never seen Dexter's Lab be used as a as a verb. Chibification. That's a word that I will end up using. That's like enshittification, but it's when they turn cartoons chibi. Gnome proportions is such a good insult. There's a lot of good sentences. I said gnome proportions, and I guess my brain didn't register it until I read it in chat. That's crazy. Sometimes Steven has a defined chest area in season 1. I get the sentiment that he's like a ball, because his torso just kind of turns into like a round object, ball object. Even in this shot, he has kind of like this like lumpy gut kind of thing going on. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. Let me see the this one. I think his anatomy is like on full display on this. He's got the gut, he's got the man titties, you know, everything's going on. Friend got mad at me the other day when I said he had peasant hands. I would take pride in having peasant hands. That you got strong like worker skin on your hands, you know? Rocking the Dudley Dursley fashion line. He was so chubby. Steven's pregnant. I'm gonna use gnome proportions now. I like that he has... I'm gonna say that in a future video probably, that he has gnome proportions. He's a bit of a gnome. Yeah, but you're right that he's got this like defined like two segments, like this segment of his body and then like the gut segment. Even the like you know how artists like draw circles for their characters, like this would be one circle and then like this would be another circle, and then in later seasons they just make his whole torso like one big circle. The egg segment. The segment. The eggment. I also like this face, even though it's just like the face you make when you can't see and you have to squint to see anything. His torso becomes one piece. Well, the one piece is real. We all know that. Dudley has pretty good fashion sense when he's older. I think Steven has a better fashion sense when he's older. I don't know. Well, Steven wearing the same shirt over and over, I think is just a power move. Everyone is so lumpy in this episode. I think the lumpiest episode is Frybo, though. I don't want to pull up Frybo because I feel like I could... If I show Steven naked, I would get demonetized or some shit. I don't know. He's wearing Greg's old merch. That is... I believe that is the case, yeah. People look at that. People in 2016 looked at this and cried Cal Art style. Remember that meme? That was... I'm glad people don't parrot that shit anymore because Still less lumpy than the pilot. I don't know about that. Love how Connie consistently wears unique outfits. I did notice that. I kind of didn't notice it until I started doing Gemology. Is that like every episode that I look at, Connie's in a different kind of outfit, and sometimes she has like in the first episode she's in a dress, and then in the next episode, which was Lion 2, the movie, she's in like overalls. You know what? Steven could rock these glasses pretty good. I think Steven should just not heal his eyes and then just get shitty eyes so he could have glasses. Connie has a whole wardrobe and Steven has 50 pairs of the same shirt and pants. Listen, if I had like 18 pairs of like the same khaki cargo shorts, I would totally wear khaki cargo shorts every day. At least in the summer. I got a unique lineup of shorts though. Steven's just got his jeans and a t-shirt. That's just me at work. I just wear jeans and a t-shirt, except I don't wear the same fucking t-shirt every day. I'm allowed to wear jeans to work, which is nice. Lighter lenses have a strong tint. Are they prescription sunglasses? They could be those like color changing ones that turn dark when they're in the sunlight. People complain about all the shows being Cal Arts and included Gumball when it's British and every character is a different art style. Yeah, the people spouting the Cal Arts meme they don't know what they're talking about. I'm still looking at Homer doing his shinning face. I wish I could show it, but I'd have to fix OBS. People complain about the bean mouth and call it Cal Art style. I do think that style is overused. It was at least the bean mouth. Yeah, the bean mouth is overused, and I notice in like Turning Red and Luca, they did the bean mouth. What's the origin of my profile picture? I drew it one day, and then I made it my profile picture. That's pretty much it. I was like, funny cartoon animal, I don't think I have the original drawing. I have like a JPEG that I uploaded to fucking DeviantArt. That hellscape of a website. Kind of looks like cat dog. Yeah, maybe. It's ambiguous cartoon animal. There's no definitive animal that it is. People have called it's a fox, it's a cat, it's a dog. Someone called it a rat at one point. It's ambiguous cartoon animal. Definitely copyright safe, yes. One of these days, I might have to animate it. Yeah. Does it have a name? I don't think so. I don't think I ever gave it a name. Unless I, like, named the file something. I think I just named it, like, profilepicture.png when I, like, made it initially. I want to see Steven's lumpy... Yeah, he is real lumpy. How many of you have seen Spirited Away? I keep talking to more and more people who haven't seen Spirited Away and, like, wouldn't get the reference of, like, the mouse baby. There's so many Studio Ghibli movies that I want to see that I haven't. Best Studio Ghibli movie I've seen is Kiki's Delivery Service. I really like that one. Actually, I think it's a toss-up between the two. I've seen Spirited Away so many times that I think that I've only seen Kiki's Delivery Service once, so there was like more like a mystical shit to it. It's a toss-up between those two. Princess Mononoke is pretty good. I have not seen that one. I've seen... Actually, I think I've only seen 3. I have seen Spirited Away, of course. That was the one I've seen when I was a little kid, and then I watched a bunch of times since then. I may have seen My Neighbor Totoro when I was like a little kid. Like once and then forgot about it. Maybe I haven't seen it at all. Who knows? Kiki's Delivery Service, really good. And The Boy and the Heron, which is a trip, but damn, it was worth seeing in theaters when it came out. Totoro was so boring to me. Maybe I did see it as a kid and then forgot about it because it was boring, or I just didn't pay attention when it was playing. When did that movie come out? Okay, that was even way before I was born, even. So I could have potentially seen it as a kid. Spirited Away was 2001? So I probably had that on fucking VHS or something. I don't know. Now I start thinking about it, and I do think Spirited Away is like a perfect movie. Like there's no a perfect movie not being like a 10 out of 10. It's pretty fucking damn close to a 10 out of 10, but it's a movie that doesn't really leave anything. It doesn't leave me wanting more. It's like it wraps up so beautifully. Siblings like Ponyo a lot. I have not seen this. There's so many fucking movies on my list that I gotta watch. I should just sit down and just watch them someday. But yeah, The Boy and the Heron in theaters was really fucking worth it. I also saw Spirited Away in theaters because they do Ghibli Fest every year. They play a bunch of different Studio Ghibli movies throughout. And, a movie that leaves you wanting less? I could do Discord movie night. I think that would be fun. Maybe like once a week or something. I can't advertise it though. If I advertise it publicly and then like they get caught on that I'm fucking playing movies over the internet, then I'm gonna get DMCA'd. A movie that leaves me wanting less is a Premium Rush. That movie is my mortal enemy. That I saw it on TV once and I watched it all the way through, and it was what a fest. What a shit show. I don't know. I didn't like that movie at all. Maybe it just wasn't for me. Are you gonna do Steven Universe movie Gemology? I should probably update the stream description because I now have a FAQ page on my website. And that is answered in the FAQ page. Let me see. Sourcemaster.net. Sourcemaster.net/FAQ will have all the answers, and if I get more questions that are that are questions, then yeah. But yes, the answer is yes. I will do. I will do the movie and future, and whenever Lars of the Stars comes out, I will do that. The movie Gemology is gonna be probably as long as the movie itself, maybe. What about the comics? It's on the FAQ page. I need to direct people to my website. I need more traffic, even though I don't run ads on it. It's got all the questions. I've been getting so many repeat questions in chat. And what about the racism PSAs? Oh, maybe. I don't know. My website, paulblart3.com. I don't own paulblart3.com anymore. I had to stop getting it at one point because I was broke, bitch. Am I gonna split it in parts? I don't think so. I think I'll do it all in one giant fucking video. I told you this, Carl. I had to not renew paulblart3.com. If I go on a Whois lookup and see if Sony owns paulblart3.com right now, maybe they do. I don't know. I'll go cloudflare.com. It's still devastating to hear. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not going to look that up right now. I did own paulblart3.com for like 2 years, and it just redirected to a YouTube channel that, like a podcast channel that I was a part of. Rip the podcast. Carl knows. Carl was the main guy for the longest time. Paul Blart Future. Hell yes. Carl, you still gotta do King of Queensology at some point. I'm waiting for that. When is King of Queensology coming out? Paul Blart Future is probably the best thing I've heard today, other than gnome. I said gnome proportions. Don't spoil it. Okay, I won't say anything. I'll only say that I'm waiting for it. Waiting patiently for that a show that I've never seen. Ugh. What is this face? She's got, like, fish lips. Steven faces look like shapeshifting. Maybe he is shapeshifting, or maybe it's just cartoon shit. Cleft lip? Isn't that... Is it cleft lip, or is that hair lip? What is a hair lip? Or is that the same thing? Okay, hair lip and cleft lip are the same thing. Okay, I get it. She does kind of have that. Maybe. I think that's just a cartoon thing, though. No, that face that she was making was like... She's got, like, that goldfish mouth, you know? I like the part where Paul Blart gets hit by a delivery truck and goes to an isekai dimension. But when the goddess asks what he wants, he says he'd really just like to go back to copping his mall. What if he is the mall cop in the mall dimension? He's like the mall dimension cop. I gotta do Paul Blardology someday. Even Steven getting a headache is a good face. And Pearl, like... What is going on in this... What is going on in this shot? Wrong answers only. Something illegal? Is he getting stabbed? Pearl with the creepypasta face? Well, we gotta, like, deep fry it and give her realistic human teeth. Thanksgiving politics. Pearl just asked Steven to do his best face, and she's rating it 10 stars. How would she know she's not looking at his face? She's looking at the back of his head into Amethyst's bosom. Whoa, good face. Whoa. I just paused randomly. There's a mirror in front of them. It's Lapis. Oh. Family Guy character. This is Family Guy eyes. Is it? Wait. No, this is Simpson eyes. Steven and Amethyst auditioning for VeggieTales. I can totally see it. Someone please draw Steven as the cucumber and Amethyst as the tomato. I forget what the tomato is named. I know the cucumber is like Larry, I think. I don't know. I don't watch fucking VeggieTales. What is the name of the tomato in VeggieTales? Bob? Okay. I know they were like just regular guy names. Okay. The last like VeggieTales media that I consumed was that guy, it's the same guy who did the, what do you call it? The Muscle Man has dementia video. Who the fuck is it? 9 Up, that's the one. Where, like, takes the cucumber Larry takes Bob the tomato to like Bible camp, and then Bob like is this like this atheist Redditor guy. I don't know. Listen, VeggieTales is like children's cartoon, but also religion. This is Steven Universe, but only the fans act like it's a religion. Only the most diehard, like, insane people in this fandom. Whoa, look at that squish face. Everything will be randomly generated. I didn't know that existed until that meme became a meme. We worship a moon goddess? That's true. There was a moon goddess, and that never came back again. Moon goddess? The fuck does that mean? I've watched my own video back enough times that I have, like, the exact cadence that I read that line is like, moon goddess? The fuck does that mean? He is compact in this shot, yes. He's been, like, stretched. This is like a time dilation. I don't know what the muscle man thing is. He goes like, you know who else has dementia? You know who else has dementia? I can't do a muscle man voice right now. I'm not vocally prepared for that. Bro, if you're broke, just say it. I can't. That's not even close. I don't have water. I need to get my water at some point, but I also have to finish my coffee. That's ice cold. What if the moon goddess is a really notable Lapis who started a human cult because the moon is related to tides? That is possible. I don't know. Oh no, bro! I feel like that was my best one so far. I don't think I can do a better muscle man. Sorry, when I see phrase in chat, mimicable phrase in chat, I have to do it. Theories it's Blue Diamond, and the moon goddess is just a name in Buddy's book. Oh, that might be the case, yeah. Why they need a statue to keep the moon temple from fucking exploding? Or the lunar sea spire. It's a moon base, moon temple. I'm gonna have to listen to my Oh No Bro back so I can hear how good it is. If the moon goddess is Blue Diamond, why do they care about the sea spire? That's a good point. Why was there a fusion statue in the sea spire? Of like a gem with 4 arms. That was a fusion. That was a goddamn fusion. I probably will say it when I get to the goddamn episode in Gemology in the real video. I think the excuse that it's a test was a retcon. I know everyone hates that word. Everyone's like, well, you can't just... Not everything's a I think it was a retcon because I feel like on its own, without that explanation, that episode makes no fucking sense. That episode suffered from, like, weird early season 1 syndrome where they didn't quite know what was going on yet. And that it was one that Rebecca Sugar and Ian JQ boarded together and was probably boarded for quite a long time before the show was actually made. So they're like, well, we have these boards, we have to make it into an episode, but it doesn't fit into the story. So I feel like they had to explain it after the fact. Rebecca still didn't have exactly what she wanted the gems to be fully ironed out, besides the fact that they came from space and there were the diamonds. Exactly, which is why I think they had to retcon that. They had to retcon a lot of things that happened in season 1. It's done subtly enough that it doesn't really like break it doesn't break the magic, it doesn't break the immersion, except for the fucking time thing. the stupid time thing and the even stupider. I've decided that the replicator wand is even dumber. It's even more of a pain to think about. Because, like, why not just clone a bunch of gems with the replicator wand and just have a fucking army? Pigment explanation of the scroll? Yes, that was a retcon as well, I'm sure. But it's also done on Tumblr, which is not the show itself, so it barely matters. It's barely canon. Even this face is good. Holy shit. Early series weirdness is in a lot of media. I agree that it's not a big deal because even a show that I really like, Avatar: The Last Airbender, has some early season 1 like strange happenings going on. Think of Zuko versus what's his name, the general guy, where that fight was like really bad. Time travel makes no sense in the show. Listen, I discussed my fucking weird headcanon about... I feel like it would be a pain to re-explain that. But it has something to do with, like, pre-gem culture. They hid this time thing in this temple that would destroy itself because they didn't want anyone getting their hands on time travel and using it to overpower them. That was my headcanon theory, at least. I don't know. Avatar: The Last Airbender seemed like it was very well planned out story-wise. Yeah, they had it planned for exactly 3 seasons. And they kind of went in knowing they would get 3 seasons. So yeah, they had that planned out. I think they worked on it for like years before they even pitched it. Which I have some ideas for shows like that. The one that I've talked about is Biotype Alpha, which I don't want to share too much about it because I'm still, you know, developing it from... There's stuff that I want to change. It's becoming more and more solidified, but there's no art details for that one yet. I do have another one that I feel like would be... I don't want to pitch, but I want to self-produce, like indie produce it someday. Maybe years from now, when Gemology's all done. I also have my game that I gotta finish at some point. I got so much time this summer and I haven't touched my game, Pilot Light. I just gotta make levels. Making levels is the hardest part. It's like... I coded everything. I mean, I need to code bosses, but that's pretty much it. Someday I'll come back to it. Maybe that's what I'll do when I decide to stream on Twitch a few times a week. I'll do the Gemology streams always on YouTube, but other like non-Gemology, either games or game development, I'll do on Twitch. Not set in stone, though. I don't have like a ton of plans to do all that. Hey, look, it's the thumbnail from the stream. They didn't do, like, the low-res eyes for Pearl. I mean, they kind of did, but it's, like, weirdly normal-looking? Look at that face. Whoa. Now that is profile picture material. Someone screenshot that. I'll move my mouse out of the way. Jasper doesn't really get a conclusion. Yeah, she gets fucking killed and corrupted in one episode and then just, like, doesn't do anything until future, where she also doesn't have any character development. Who boarded this episode? It was, I forget. Raven something. Let's go back. This is the same person, same people rather, who did they did frickin' Joking Victim, which also, that's something I praised that episode for, was the great faces. Love the corruption plot point for Jasper, but it totally put the writers in a corner. Yeah. The cancellation really shot the ending arc in the foot, and it was I don't want to say it was Rebecca Sugar's fault, but she called the shot that made it shorter, because she got the warning, like, hey, if you're gonna do the lesbian wedding, then Cartoon Network said, well, we're gonna cut it short. And I'm like, good for her for standing up for that, but also it didn't do any favors to the show itself, unfortunately. It did set like a stepping stone for other shows to follow, which maybe was worth it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to get all like gender politics or anything in here. Not something I really care about. She called the network's bluff. That's true, yeah. Well, the network was still... They kind of didn't budge on that. I mean, neither of them budged. It was an immovable force meeting an immovable object meeting an unstoppable force and then breaking. Adventure Time was afraid to do it, and they did it behind the studio's back anyway. They didn't know that. They someone added that in, I think, like right before the episode aired, I believe. I don't know if that's true. That could be just like a rumor. They added the Marceline and bubblegum smooching, and they said, well, we don't have time to like redo that scene, so we just have to air it. You wouldn't fault her for the cancellation? Yeah. They were good friends. They just make out a little bit every so often. You know, you do that with your good friends. I forget that Lion is in this episode. What is he? He's just a cool background element. Oh, she's doing the hand thing. Look at that. She's doing the hand thing. She also has nothing... Wait, she has nothing in this hand, and then she closes it, and now there's something in her hand. What is... What? That's strange. Okay, hand thing. There it is. Then it's not there. Then it goes back to that. That's a weird hand, by the way. Go to previous shot. Oh, lion. He's like, fucking, let me just nap. Let me just be a big cat. Wait, before they hug? Picked it up via osmosis. Yeah, that's apparently a thing that's, like, it's just easier to draw because you're drawing the middle and ring fingers as, like, one big finger instead of having to draw them separately. But it's still, like, it looks like a calling card, like a fucking some Illuminati shit. Because, someone said like your hand normally like naturally goes to that position, but like try like stretching your fingers out when you do that. It's like not comfortable. And they do that in the drawings in certain drawings when they have outstretched hands. I think specifically the Garnet part of the pilot when she holds up her hand and she pulls the glove off and like holds up her hand. She's doing that hand pose. And it's just not natural looking just because it looks uncomfortable. It's the opposite of live long and prosper. Yep. They have a moment when the scene was storyboarded. There was a note in the margins simply saying, "Come on," with a large exclamation point. They have a moment. They start fucking on screen. No, they just make out and smooch for a whole 10 minutes. Whoa, this soundtrack is going hard. This is too intense for me. Whoa, drop the bass. Yeah, that's too much for me. I'm going back to Going Under. I like Going Under soundtrack. I think I've been listening to Terraria for too long. This one's a bit quieter too. Need some Deltarune music. I don't want to buy Deltarune music because then all I'll get in my like game recommendations is Deltarune and Undertale shit, and that is not. Undertale I streamed eons ago, near like probably 6 or 7 years ago. I don't like that game at all. I like the music, don't get me wrong. I like the music when people use it in videos and shit, but man, I dislike Undertale. One of my least favorite games ever. Why? I made a whole video about it. It's one of my most popular videos on my channel, is why I dislike Undertale. I feel like I don't need to... I spend all the time making a video. Someday I'm going to go back and try to replay it, and then I'm going to make a video about why I still dislike Undertale, or why I started liking Undertale. I don't know. It's not a game that I think I would like if I go back to it, because it's not a genre that I like, really. And the style of humor is just not me. This is outrageous and personally offensive. That's pretty much all the comments that I get on that video. I still get comments to this day, and I know people are searching for it. I can tell because I can look at the analytics and see that like 80% of the views come from searches, and that 80% of the searches are people looking for videos about people disliking Undertale. I think of there's a meme of like, I entered a thread of thing I don't like and now I'm upset. What's wrong? I deliberately entered this thread. Like watching Undertale Let's Plays and tried playing it, and yeah, it's not my thing. I don't know. I think the humor is just not... I don't know even how to describe the humor. I always describe it as Tumblr humor, but I don't really have a good definition for that. But it's Tumblr humor. Like, come on. All the people in high school that I knew who had Tumblr accounts, and I knew were like Tumblrinas, they were the ones who liked it. And I find that style of, that like 2016 style of humor just kind of obnoxious, I think. Looking for fights. Yeah, it's people purposely going, people purposely looking for a video where they dislike or they disagree with something just so they can comment on it. Oh, that's a good face. I forgot that face existed. This episode is Steven's first diamond-specific power if you don't count his bubble. Interesting, interesting. I haven't delved too deep into the whole diamond side yet because I don't want to just start talking about diamonds like this early into the into gemology, because that's not a thing that gets revealed or even like hinted at until later. There's a couple like little baby hints that they give you, but yeah, if you want to screenshot that, I'll give it to you. Does this episode have stool continuity? They don't have... stool continuity is null because there's no shots inside the house. That makes sense to wait to talk about. There's a lot of people... I even had someone message me on Discord about... like, talk about how this ties into this in the movie. And it's like, well, I'm not talking about the movie. Like, I'm talking about this XYZ episode. I'll talk about the movie... when I get to the movie. Like, I don't... if I talk about future episodes... if I spend all of Season 1 talking about shit that happens in later episodes, I won't have anything to say when I get to those later episodes. Or if I do... or I'll end up just saying the same thing, you know? And then people will say, well, you said that already. You repeat yourself. Point out the diamond symbol when it shows up. Yeah, the like the diamond authority emblem, like in I pointed it out in back in Sirius, Steven, in the pyramid temple. The era 2 symbol was on the floor with the 3 diamonds. Reynold talks about the Great Diamond Authority, but it's a joke. But he's the first one to say it, and that's like what it's actually called. That always blew my fucking mind. That he's like a walking spoiler. And then the next person to actually say the phrase Great Diamond Authority is Peridot, who like knows what she's talking about. I'll spend the streams talking about shit that happens in future episodes, because then it gives me ideas of what to actually write for those future episodes. I know what the diamond means. Listen, hear me out. I like the Ronaldo episodes, and only kind of dislike Rocknaldo. I think he's obnoxious in that one. I know the point is that he's obnoxious. I know that it's obnoxious to the viewer. But I don't entirely hate that one. Also, Keep Each City Weird and Rising Tides, Crashing Skies I think are funny. Hot take, I like Rocknaldo. Add that to the hot takes video. I actually started writing the script for the hot takes video. And that's going to come out after the Ocean Gem one. Whoa. It's like going through that slowly. Yeesh. Look at those neck veins. Whoa. Me when I eat a whole lemon. I should do that someday just to try it, just to say I did. I ate like maybe not a quarter, but a bunch of pineapple today, and it was like it was like burning. You know how if you eat like a fresh pineapple, it's like super acidic. I don't like this. It's disturbing. I think that's the point. It's a good face, though. I don't think Garnet makes any good faces. Garnet just is stoic this whole episode. When does she punch the fucking rock? Here we go. She goes, shh. I didn't think I like didn't quite understand what that was for the longest time, but it was because Rose was going, or fucking Pearl's freaking out, so she's going shh to why did I call Pearl Rose? I'm thinking Rose because it's a Rose episode. Pearl's freaking out, and she's just like, shut the fuck up, like relax. You're just making everyone else worried. It's like those close-ups in SpongeBob. Yeah, like the painted. Did they actually, like, paint those? I feel like they had to. Onion is a character I like in quick gags, but his episodes universally suck. I can agree with that wholeheartedly. I think the Onion, one of my favorite Onion gags is when he does, like, a fucking triple backflip off the fucking ship, off the Topaz and Aquamarine ship. I'm like, whoa, he can fucking swim. He got swimming lessons from Vidalia. But yeah, as a focus for an episode, he's really bad. Pearl is Rose confirmed? I mean, kind of. In a single pale rose. The pale rose was Pearl. I want to buy. Some people bought the SpongeBob paintings. I want to buy some cells from Ed and Eddie because Ed and Eddie is my favorite show of all time, and they do these like charity auctions for cells on eBay occasionally. But the ones with all three of the Ed boys are really expensive. Why is this song so quiet? I like this one and it's so quiet. Oh, wait, I should have said something about this. I've been neglecting the best animation in each episode, but like Garnet summoning her gauntlet and like all the lighting on her face and everything is really cool. It's so like buttery smooth. Holy shit. Wow, yeah. I don't know why they made Garnet more purple leaning in her later forms. Was she like really purple? Let me pull up like a side by side. I can't show my OBS is not cooperating today, so I can't really switch to the others, like to be able to show newer Garnet. Hold on. Garnet. I was gonna type Garnet TF2. Oh, she is like noticeably more purple. Yeah. That's weird. I know it's like they can change her style. They change her. Gems get new styles every time they reform and all that. But that is odd that her like skin color changed. Is that racist? I don't know. Say that about Michael Jackson. It's like it's weird that his skin color changed. Her color palette changed somewhat after she refused. Was it in was it directly in Jailbreak? I don't know. One thing to keep in mind for storytelling in this show is a lot of it is designed to throw off the viewer until the reveal. I especially thought that in the trial where they made they made it kind of seem like one of the diamonds was responsible for Pink Diamond's death, but because you'd think it was Yellow Diamond. I think that would have been equally interesting, if not more, than if Rose was Pink Diamond. But they definitely did that to fucking throw off people who speculate. I think they just knew that they have all these mysteries, and there's this huge online community when it was airing that was trying to dissect everything, and they wanted to like add shit that would confuse people. It was a good move. It was playing 4D chess or something. Even Garnet's OG form is more purple compared to Season 1. Like the pilot mode? Blue Zircon is crazy and she totally got shattered. No, Blue Zircon shows up again in future, I think. Maybe. Oh yeah, Cotton Candy Garnet. That's it. I don't know why. I was thinking OG. I was thinking pilot Garnet. The fact that she wasn't shattered is insane. Yeah. But she was a public defender, so you can't, like... Maybe they have laws in place for that. You know how, like, public defenders in the fucking United States, in the real United States, you don't get, like, thrown in fucking prison for defending a... You're not, like, an accomplice to a crime if like, a super obvious criminal, if you're the one defending them, you know? What is that called? There's a word for that. There's always a word for lawyer shit. I don't know. The side of the law that I know about is media. I took a media law class in fucking college. It was one of my required things, which is nice because it was able to get me through a fucking DMCA takedown one time, and I walked through that myself with no lawyer present. This is fucked. I think it's funny, though. It's cool. They did the whole trial because Blue Diamond wanted to hear, not because they're just or anything. There's a process for that. I watched a video. It was like real lawyer watches Steven Universe and like explained in real, like even if the evidence is already there, like without a benefit of doubt that someone is fucking if someone is already guilty and they're already pleading guilty, there's still this process that they have to do to like that the defense still has to give their case before a verdict can be given. It's not legal. What was her name? It was a woman. Just look up like lawyer watches Steven Universe the trial, and it it was a really good video because she was really what was her name? Michaela? That's just her channel name is just Michaela. They didn't think about trials on Homeworld before the answer. True. Maybe that was a human thing. Maybe that was something they picked up from the fucking Romans before the Gem War started. If the evidence is overwhelming that someone committed a crime, they try to talk it down to a reduced sentence. Yeah, that does make sense. Even if the defendant is ready to like say they're guilty, they still do. The attorney still does their song and dance to try to get the best outcome, you know. The Zircons were created right when Blue decided that she wanted a trial. I don't think that is possible because they need fucking injectors and all that. The Gem War caused the fall of the Roman Empire. That could possibly be possible. I don't know. Well, timeline-wise, when did the Romans exist? I think the Greeks and ancient Egyptians existed during gem history on Earth. Hold on. Because it would have been like 4000 BC when gems were on Earth, right? Okay, yeah. The Egyptians were most certainly around. The pyramids were not built, but there were like Mesopotamian and like Nile River fucking humans that existed at some point. 2,000 years ago? Nah. Oh, yeah, Romans were 2,000 years ago, but the Egyptians were way before that. I think the thing that blew my mind was that like the ancient Greeks were as ancient as the ancient Romans are to us. Like, there's that much more time. And then, like, yeah, there's still fucking... what do you call it? There's still shit going on even before... Yeah, there's always civilizations before that. Was it 12,000 years ago that, like, the archaeological evidence of, like, human civilization? Gems are 20,000 years old. I think 6,000 years is the number they keep saying in the show. I don't know if 20,000? That doesn't seem... Maybe some of them. I don't know where that number comes from, though. This face is crazy, even though you can't see the front. She's like screaming, but also they pan or they cut to the behind her head and she's still screaming. For being so goddamn old, these characters seem to act really immaturely. Well, imagine being born an adult and having to figure out how to be an adult without having to go through childhood. You think you'd be well adjusted? I don't. We're still in the peak of the last ice age. Huh. The Earth is older than the diamonds? Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. The diamonds could have existed before humans on Earth did, sure, but my cat showed up. Connie calls out gems for acting immature for their age. Okay, let me see if I can get my cat to meow into the microphone. There we go. You have to like scratch him in a spot by his tail, and he kind of doesn't like that, and he'll let you know. What kind of cat? I got a big fucking orange cat, like a fat fuck orange cat, you know, kind of Garfield archetype, Garfield coded. Oh. I always thought the diamonds were way older. I don't know. The diamonds could be a fucking like 100,000 years old. But the colony on Earth is only 6,000. That's not independent, or that's there's no like correlation to the gem's age and the Earth colony age. Art book says they are considered the diamonds to be 20,000 years old. It always could be changed. That could have always been different. I don't know. Why do they come to a different galaxy? Seems like a big hassle. Well, you put one warp pad down and then it's not anymore. They had to find a perfect colony that was really, really far away from the other ones, so they didn't have to deal with Pink Diamond's bullshit. They could shut her up, you know? What is the implications? Let's look at the, This shot is, like, really cool, but I don't understand the implications of it. That I guess Connie's gonna get Connie gets her own arc of, like, lying to her parents for a long time. She's doing the hand thing! The hand thing, TM. Her hair looks cool like that. Yeah, her hair down looks really neat. And, like, the swaying, the moving. Does she just fucking leave those lenses on the ground? Like, she doesn't even keep them just in case her eyes go bad again? She gets clear vision for 30 seconds and decides, I don't need glasses. This is the moment Connie became Heisenberg, yeah. No, this is the moment that Connie became the Steven. Reminds me of Stevani. Doesn't Stevani have, like, more wavy hair? I know when I get to the Stevani episode, I gotta make sure to say they, because people got really pissed off in the comments that I called Stevani. I made a little joke and I said Stevani and she in the same sentence, and people were pissed off at me. Because I don't use they them pronouns really. I pick one that seems, or I usually, if someone really gets upset, I would generally ask, like, what would you prefer? My brain doesn't handle they them very well. It's not like a political statement. I just haven't been able to adapt my language to it. Stevani is just hair. Stevani's hair is just Steven's hair, but long. I think you're right. Long and, like, Connie hair colored. Stevani definitely should be referred to as they, them, but their gender wasn't made explicit till, like, season 5. I think you're right about that. I also, I feel like I'm going to confuse myself when I talk about... Because I'm going to end up talking about Steven and Connie as two separate characters, you know, i.e. they, and Stevani in the same sentence, where, I don't know, my brain is just going to want to say she instead of they. Steven is half woman anyway. Aren't all male humans half female because they have an X chromosome? I don't know. If we're getting to like the fucking biology of it. So, I don't want to reference Kevin, but Kevin calls Stevani girl in one scene. Also, Stevani is voiced by a woman. Okay, I still am looking at this scene. So, Connie doesn't have her glasses on. Wait, let me see. She has her glasses in her hand. Then she kind of puts them down. I don't think they're in her hand in this shot. Then Steven, she gets up. She doesn't have them in her hand. Steven hugs her, and then when he lets go, they're in her hand again. I don't get this. Fucking, she's got magic powers more so than Steven does. And then, yeah, she has them in her hand. Was that before he learned it was two kids in a trench coat? I think so. Steven is definitely meant to look female. There's no getting around that. I think Steven has some, like... He has some more feminine characteristics than a lot of male cartoon characters. Her glasses are her gem weapon. Oh. Ooh. That would be a cool concept for some fucking weird OC. So men would be he, her, since it's impossible to have a human YY chromosome. There would be no he, him. Interesting. Interesting take on gender politics. We only talk about the most nonsensical gender politics on the sourcemaster.net stream. Stevani probably shouldn't be considered an adult. Yeah. There's some weird implications. I'm glad they don't delve into it too much. They don't get too deep into all that implications, but I think the Stevani being an adult can lead to some really fucked up shit. Maybe there's a fan fiction about that and people can go read that instead, but glad it wasn't really... It just kind of played for fun in the show, you know? Like the hard cut. Also, yeah. She's looking all stoic, and then they just hard cut. They don't fade out. It's interesting. The boy Kevin thought it was all over when when he found out. I'm glad that he fucking knew to get the hell out of there. Except he didn't, because he fucking dragged them into his party that one time. He's like, you gotta form Stevani in that one episode because he's like a huge pervert. But does Steg have 4 arms? Because Greg is a hunk. Greg is jacked. Stani's got this noodle arms. She isn't like strunk. Kevin has something for fusions. Don't we all? And doesn't everyone have something for Stevani? Like when in the scene in the Big Donut that Lars and Sadie look at, her. I'm gonna say her because I'm just passing remarks. When I actually write it out, I'll say they. But when she's in the fucking donut shop and Steven and Lars have like huge crush because she's like the most attractive person they've ever seen because she's fucking fusion. It's cool. It's a cool concept. Opal, my beloved. Yes. Not to say that I agree. I can see the appeal in Opal though. You're entirely correct. Something's wrong with my monitor. I'm just gonna leave it like this and just see if people join and they're just like really confused as to like what's wrong with the stream. Why are you censoring it? I still think Steg is a stupid name for that fusion. I feel like to a lesser degree, I think Stevani is a little bit stupid of a name, but it ends up working for that character. But I think Steg could have just been called Mr. Universe or Mr. Multiverse. Is he really Steg in like the credits of the movie? So let me adjust the focus on the camera here. There we go. Wait. His concept art, he was Mr. Multiverse. So why did they credit him as Steg in the movie? Who's Heat and why is he stroking? Nick Nitro, how's it going? I never seen a verified checkmark in my chat before. Welcome. It's heat stroke weather. It's there's a heat warning, like a high temperature warning where I am right now. Can I just do this real quick? Hold on. There we go. Now I can do this shit. Just oh, yes. Just blur the hell out of the episode. Now it's all Connie vision. We have officially entered Connie-verse. The Connie-verse. This is just... Her eyes aren't actually fixed. She just said it to like make Steven feel better. It's like, I do have healing powers, but he really doesn't. And she just sees everything like this now because she broke her glasses. Human fusion makes no sense with how fusion is explained in the show. Well, like, it's magic. I don't know. I think it being magic is just a cool idea. Can I delete this strip? There we go. About as much as I can see when I take my glasses off. Let me see what my vision... Hold on. If I take off my glasses, I can adjust... I can adjust my vision to what I see. Let me see. I think it's about like that. Like that's what my vision looks like when I take my glasses off. At least from like this distance to my monitor. Like, when I take my glasses off now, nothing changes. I find it interesting that they use terms like magic, but it's shed away toward high technology. I remember seeing... There's a couple things about that. I'm working on the hot takes video. for a couple weeks from now. And there was a few different comments about the like technology versus magic, and some people saying they like it being tech, some people saying they like it being magic. I think I lean toward the magic side. I think not everything needs to be explained in fiction, especially in a huge like sci-fi fantasy setting like this where there's like a ton of things to keep track of. I think it being able to say it's magic is a nice thing. I thought they were calling it magic for young Steven's sake. It's possible that there's magic that ended up becoming technology. And you know, there's like new things that they introduce as like Era 2 stuff, like the ships and the what is it, gem destabilizer that they introduced like right in season 1. It's like, here's some technology, perhaps magic powered technology that didn't exist when the gems initially fought this war, and since they've been gone for so long from Homeworld that they've progressed with this technology, but I still think there's like underlying it's still like a magic powered thing. It's still like gem powered or rock powered or whatever. Makes sense that humans would think of it all as magic. Yes, I feel like it's such an unstudied thing. Maybe I don't think they'd ever cover it in Lars of the Stars, but like humans studying gems would be really an interesting thing to learn about. I know Buddy's book was an episode. I know Ronaldo was a character. I feel like Ronaldo could have been used way better if he ended up being like this gem archaeologist kind of. I think that would have been an interesting direction to take that character. I remember people having theories that gem destabilizers were powered by pearls. Weird. I don't know what to think about that. Was this like early show? I don't know. Cuz it looks like yellow diamond magic, like electric shock power. Yeah, gem destabilizers are from Yellow Diamond's energy, or Yellow Diamond's ability. I think they used some sort of fucking magic to replicate her power. Very cool, subtle world building. Yeah, when she vaporizes that zircon, and you see that it's like the same pattern. Aquamine's ability is using blue diamonds. I don't know about that. I feel like the wand is just like a MacGuffin, like a really overpowered magic device a la Season 1. Does Blue ever do that, though? That's what I'm saying. I don't think she does. She, like, shoots a ball at one point. I think that's all I can really think of. That wand belongs in Season 1, yeah. Doesn't Peridot use a similar thing with her limb enhancers? Yeah. I feel like we're hearing repeats of... No, I don't think we're hearing repeats yet, but... I just had an idea that we were hearing repeated songs. Lapis powering the mirror still confuses me. Was she just powering it as a battery? Like, how would it work if her gem wasn't present? I think it is a battery. I think that's kind of the idea, is that, like, there's still this underlying magic, and you can use gems or, like, gem-adjacent materials as batteries. Like the weird fucking crystal heart thing in the temple. Like, what is that? It's not, like, a sentient living gem, but it's definitely powering something, like powering Rose's room and all that shit. Powering all of, like, the water that comes out of Pearl's room. Or the mirror. Yeah, we were just saying the mirror. Or the pyramid temple in Sirius Steven. I made a whole blog post about that on sourcemaster.net, like, 6 months ago. Not 6 months ago, like 4 months ago. I think spaghetti amethyst is kind of disturbing, like, nasty looking. Her body's got, like, she's got, like, the stump. She's like a double amputee. She's got stump arms and legs. This was foreshadowing Spinel. You know, the entirety of the Steven Universe movie is a retcon, right? Spinel didn't exist when this show was being made. That wasn't even like a concept. Retcon, everyone associates retcon. I say retcon, and it's not in a negative context most of the time. She's doing the actual live long and prosper. Retcon is just like they had to add something in that didn't exist, so they had to somehow, like, move stuff around in the original story to fit it in, you know? Girlfriend got you into during the lockdowns was quite the fandom to walk into. Interesting that you kind of caught it, like, right at the tail end of all the crazy stuff that was going on, because I've been watching this show since it, like, I talked about it in the pilot, like, the pilot episode. I watched the pilot as it aired on Cartoon Network for the first time, and I ended up watching the whole show as it aired on TV, which was a really cool thing. I've never done that for, like, a whole show, like, front to back. I was never there for an entire. That was the first, and actually one of the last times I've done that. Like, I've never participated in a fandom as much as I've done for this show, especially now because I'm just, like, getting real deep into it. Do you think they would be making Lars of the Stars if I didn't start Gemology? I credit it to myself. It's me. I showed that there was still interest in this show. And it's not true, but I like to inflate my ego sometimes. First one I ever did that with was Naruto, Pray for My Soul. Is there a Naruto series that's still going? Isn't, like, Boruto gonna go on for another 18,000 season? Started Naruto at the same age he was at. Age he was at 12. Got married at the same time he did in the anime. Wow. That is some. Did you do that on purpose, or did it just, like, kind of coincide? You're like, Naruto's getting married. It's time for me to fucking propose and get married. Not at all. No, okay, you're not that much of a weeaboo. That's nice. Okay, I need to pick a new soundtrack because I feel like we're hearing repeats. This is supposed to be an hour and... What is it? An hour and 32 minutes? That's not We haven't been listening to this for an hour and 32 minutes. What should I pick next? Can always do FTL. FTL is always relaxing. I drank that coffee earlier, and I think it's given me a lot of energy to just keep doing gem stuff. Whoa, wait, hold on. I just saw a cool face. Let me zoom back in. Here we go. Wait, where was it? Yeah! That's crazy looking. Just notice the art in the corner of the vid. That's, I had when I was part of that podcast I mentioned like an hour ago, one of the people on there drew little avatars for all of us. And I had this cool version of it. And I just decided to use it in the corner there. Me when I'm at the pizza buffet. You guys ever been to Pizza Ranch? I don't know, that's like a Midwest thing. If any of you from Midwest, there's like Pizza Ranch exists. I haven't been there in forever, but now you mentioned pizza buffet and I'm hungry. I know I actually had dinner before I started the stream, so I shouldn't be that hungry during this. But I am. Been to Pizza Ranch, it's alright. I'm just thinking about their dessert pizza. Never heard of it. Maybe, let me look at like a range. Pizza Ranch locations. I just want to see like a map of like every Pizza Ranch in the country. It's like mostly... I will reveal... I will dox myself. I do live in Iowa, and I feel like it's a primarily Iowa... what do you call it? Primarily Iowa chain, because it looks like most of them are in Iowa. I'm not like doxing myself. That's a thing I've said ages ago in either Discord or my public Discord or on stream. Speaking of Discord, if you're not part of it already, there is a link to my Discord server in the description. If you want to keep the chat going forever. I still think the most important scene in this episode was the I keep gushing about it because it was so well done, but when Steven's like, "Man, I wish I could have met you." Cuz it sets up like his kind of imposter syndrome basically, is that he's like he wants to live up to this like grand image that's painted of his mom. Literally grand image that's painted in his fucking house that he gets to see every day. Drove an hour for Taco John's. I haven't had Taco John's in forever. I know they like remodeled the one near me. There was I used to work a job that had me traveling around a lot. And I ended up in Omaha, Nebraska. No, Lincoln, Nebraska. And there was this chain, it was like just a local chain there called Taco Inn. And it was kind of like a Taco John's, but it was really fucking good. Also, there was another restaurant, I can't remember the name of it. And it was a sub place, and it was like the best fucking sandwich that I've ever had. It was a 16-inch sub, and I got it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna eat like half of it now and then half of it tomorrow. And no, I ate the whole fucking thing because it was so delicious. Don't worry, nobody's gonna come to Iowa to stalk you. Yeah, you're probably right. Especially when there's a fucking heat stroke warning. Discord is good for duck pics. I will try to do more duck pics when I can. I got the dunk in the tent. Let me pull up the dunk in the tent image that I had. Did I download that to my computer or did I upload that from my phone? I can't remember. I will do a live duck reveal at some point. But I will show my duck on in here real quick. Let me add image. Let me go find that. There we go. There's some dunks. Got my black cayuga duck that someone told me they lay black eggs, which is not true. At least this one doesn't. Yeah, some dunks, if you like dunks. Glad I clicked on the stream sub now. Well, see ya, Nick Nitro. Thanks for stopping by. Everyone's like, well, you have ducks. Everyone thinks it's crazy that I have ducks for some reason, even though it's like people have chickens in the same city that I live in. Like, I live in the city. Like, I have my own house. I have my own, like, big enough space for this. But they, yeah, unsolicited duck pic. This is not the, like, duck reveal. One day I'll grab one of these guys, one of these ladies, rather, and bring them on stream. I said 20,000 subscribers. That's what I'll just do it. I'll just have a duck on stream. Ducks are pretty normal to have. It's weird though, because when I go to work and I talk about like ducks and people are like, "Whoa, you have ducks?" It's like, huh. There are black chickens that lay black eggs. Maybe that's what they're thinking of. That is possible. I also know that these are like a very uncommon breed of duck, the black cayugas. They're nice though. This one specifically is one I raised indoors, so she's extra friendly. She's the only one that lets me pick her up. Brown cows still make chocolate milk. You might be right. I had ducks when I was younger. Can confirm. People always think it was weird. People like forget that ducks are a common farm animal. I've driven out in the country for some extra cash. We can stop looking at the ducks. Some extra cash during before Gemology and stuff. This was around Christmas when there was a lot of work. But Amazon Flex deliveries, they'd have you get a bunch of packages and take them out into the country. And I always see farmhouses with fucking ducks running around everywhere. It's not uncommon. I don't know. But everyone thinks I'm insane. Maybe people are insane for me saying for not wanting chickens, but they're about the same to take care of. Crossbreed them and make a yin-yang duck. That's the thing, is that that black duck is the mother of those two white ducks. And I don't understand duck genetics, so I can't tell you why that the mother that has entirely black feathers hatched two ducks that have entirely white feathers. I have no idea. The duck intermission, yes. You get to talk about alpacas. That's fun. If I get rich and end up having enough money to buy a big old plot of land out in the country somewhere, I'm going to fence it in. I'm going to get kangaroos because kangaroos are awesome and you can legally keep them in Iowa. You can get a better rarity than uncommon from an uncommon duck. You need legendary. Oh, wait. You can't get a better legendary or better rarity. That makes sense. So I have to get a rare or legendary duck to roll another rare duck. I know that the uncommon duck bred with the common duck, so that probably fucked up my chances there. That's some Factorio shit. I don't know if any of you have played Factorio, and specifically Factorio Space Age with like the gambling machines, the recyclers that you can just gamble your items over and over till you have Sell the common ducks and buy a rainbow duck. I had a rainbow duck. I had one that was like black and white and gray and green and yellow, and it was all sorts of colors, but that was a male, and I'm not allowed to keep males in the city. The game is too addicting. I must abstain for now. I have substituted my Factorio with playing Minecraft with Create Mod. And that's pretty much the same thing because it has trains. But you can make the trains look like anything you want. The problem is that rainbow duck was the common duck. And I did hatch a bunch of, what do you call it? I hatched a bunch of black ducks, but they were all male. Or they got fucking killed by the other drakes. Because they're relentless creatures. I didn't have a good setup to keep the ducklings isolated, so that was not a good time. Why can't you keep the males? Because there's a city ordinance against it. I don't know. I think it's a blanket thing for just poultry in general. Like, you can't have a fucking rooster in the city. That makes sense to me. Because they're loud as hell. But male ducks are actually quieter than females. Like, my remaining hens, my female ducks are loud as hell. What happens to the males again? They get processed and turned into a succulent Chinese meal, perhaps. The duality of man, yummy and awe. I didn't get to eat them. I didn't want to eat them. I just sold them, and it was unfortunate, but it was a lot. I have to buy less food for them because I had 6 at a certain point. I was feeding 6 ducks every day, and I had to keep buying food, and now I only have to buy half as much food because they're ravenous creatures. Also, the biggest difference between having a cat and having a duck, they're about the same. They're about as easy to take care of as a cat, because you just replace the bedding like you would replace a litter box. You feed them every day. You give them water every day. The biggest difference is how much they like to be sprayed with a hose. The ducks love to be sprayed with a hose, and a cat, well, yeah, you can guess what a cat thinks. You should turn on communities for discussing stuff. Are you talking like the YouTube community thing where it's like a forum? I also have Discord. Like, there's a Gemology, specifically a Gemology like forum channel on Discord in the description there. But I did turn on that community thing not knowing what it was, so I think it already is turned on. Maybe? Unless I did it wrong. I don't know. Oh, I can do quizzes? Well, I couldn't do quizzes like a week ago. I tried to do a quiz. Alpacas also love to be sprayed with a hose. Can you cut a spaghetti limb off Amethyst with scissors, or does she just poof? That's a fucked up question, but I like the imagery of it. It's like fucking just take a like garden shears and just slice her arm off and see what happens. That's fucked. Do you think it would have been better to poof her and put her in a bubble during all this instead of just letting her roam free and let her crack become worse? I wonder. There's a catbird outside my... I'm talking about cats and ducks, and now there's a catbird outside my window going, eh! I don't know if you can hear it. I don't think so. They should have... Definitely, they should have bubbled her to avoid further damage. I could have mentioned that in the... I know that's, like, probably... like, a fucked up thing to do is, like, hey, I'm gonna fucking, like, stab you real quick until we get the fountain working. They don't want to poof her in fear that the gem would get more cracked by hurting her. I don't think hurting her physical body would do that, though. Like, Pearl at the beginning of the episode, like, specifically says it would be fine if it was just her body, but it's her gem that's damaged or something like that. Something like that. She's like, well, if it would be fine if it was just her body. Can gems retreat into their gems, or do they only reformat when poofed? I think reformat is the wrong word. Reformat would be the, what the rejuvenator does. But I don't think... I know what a Ruby in one episode talked about. Like, I almost dissipated my form or something like that. I feel like they can, if they're in like a... If they're like freaked out and panicking, they can like... You know, defense mechanism. They just turn back into a stone. I have to think that gems could intentionally retreat into their gems, even though we don't really see it. Again, maybe put that on the Lars of the Stars wish list. Like... They need to get through some kind of fucking, like, checkpoint or something. And Lars is human, so he's the only one who can make it through, but he has to, like, smuggle them in. He can, like, shove it into his hair or whatever. So he poofs them all. And then they get mixed up, and you get to see the fluorites, like, individual components. Spinel poofed in shock after getting Steven's message. Yeah. Maybe she just did it on purpose to get a new look. She wanted to become goth. Or like emo. Is goth... Goth is not the right word. I think she just became emo. Like a heart attack? Yeah. Like heat stroke. Yeah, if you get heat stroke as a gem, you just... If you're just too hot, you just fucking explode. Like my engine, like my car's engine that one time. That's not a thing that happened. I'm making that up. Ruby is always having heat stroke. Yes. Cuz she's the hottest gem, literally. I do think I'm getting to that point where I would I'd like to end the stream off pretty soon. Not immediately, but I don't know what else specifically about this episode. I think I've run out of things to say. This warp thing is weird. Also, I gotta see that one Pearl face. Oh. What is this? What does this mean? This has been a long stream. The last one goes 3 hours. I try to do 3 hours. That seems like a reasonable amount of time. Ruby is heat stroke. Can Ruby, like, shoot flames out of her hands or something? Or does she just get, like, really... Does she just get hot and then, like, cause stuff to fucking combust around her? And in a similar question, can Sapphire, like, shoot ice out of her hands? The Amethyst face is funny. But Amethyst face... Oh, yeah, the like, googly eye. Garnet just has no emotion throughout this whole thing. I know she's got it like pent up. She burned grass with her feet once. I think her body just heats up. Yeah, I don't think she has flame powers. I know Alexandrite has flame powers. She can breathe fire. Maybe that's a fusion exclusive power to get, is to have fucking like fire breath or lava in the case of obsidian. How hot can Ruby get and how cold can Sapphire get? Sapphire, please reach 0 Kelvin. I think she'd become like a superconductor at that temperature. Don't like sapphires conduct electricity when they get really cold? Let me Google that. Hold on. Do sapphires conduct? They have a high thermal conductivity. You're found useful for high power radio frequency applications. Okay, that doesn't. Sapphire has excellent optical, thermal, mechanical, and electrical properties. That doesn't help me. Sapphire crystal is an excellent electric insulator and a good thermal conductor. Okay. That's why it's so hard to find. Superconductor. She can drive a train. Can someone draw Sapphire with like a train engineer's hat, you know? You know what I'm talking about. The engineer hat. Like that a train engineer has. I've heard that's a job that's like incredibly it's incredibly hard for them to find people to work like railroads, you know, either railroad maintenance or like an actual train engineer. They if you're looking for a job and if you're ready to settle for anything, work for a railroad because they're always hiring. Ruby reaches Planck's temperature. Yeah, we all watched that Vsauce video. The temperature that gets so hot that it emits radiation. That's the wavelength is exactly 1 Planck's length, which I don't know what actual temperature that would be. What is Planck's temperature? I can't read that number. That's a fucking exponent. Wait, 1.416784 times 16 times 10 to the 32nd Kelvin. That's a big ass number. Once you got the job, it's easy to train. Ha ha ha. Actually, I should give you more credit for that. It's a training job. You know, we're just training you. We're just training you. Meanwhile, you're already on board the locomotive and traveling halfway across the country. Now we're just training, you know. It's training. Let me hear your opinion about Pearl's line about Steven being a failure in the fountain. I forget how it goes specifically. It's like, I mean, I didn't say anything because it's not a canon thing that happens. You'll never have real powers, and we don't want any. You'll never be a real crystal gem, and we don't want anything to do with you, or something like that. I think it's just kind of silly that it's very much like as soon as she says it, you realize like that's like she wouldn't fucking say that. I don't really have an opinion on that one. I think it's just funny more than anything. Cuz it's so quick, but it's also jarring because it's like Pearl would never, and then Connie's like, Pearl would never, and then Steven's like, yeah, you're right. But it kind of explains why Steven's in the slump that he is. He's so sad. See, that would have caused the... Actually, that didn't cause the tears. He's too tough to cry. Guess I'm too tough to cry. If I ever start like a punk band, it's going to be called Too Tough to Cry. He would have shattered if Pearl actually said that. Who would he have shattered? He did shatter Jasper, so maybe she did say it. Maybe Jasper said it. You'll never be a real gem. I'm looking back. I know the community, the posts tab on my... Wait, how do I enable that community thing? Someone mentioned it. I forget. Just a little bit ago, someone mentioned you do enable the community thing. How do I do that? Community moderation. Hold on. Posts? No. Viewer posts? I think they're just enabled. I don't know how that works. Customization? Can I turn it off if I need to? If it becomes like an entire spam fest, that's the one thing I'm worried about. Home tab. Wait. This isn't working. Something broke. I'm gonna accidentally delete my channel on stream. Then I'll look like Steven. I don't think they make it very easy to delete a channel. I don't know. I just want to find out how that works. I think it's customization. Home tab? No. Wait. No. I don't know. I'll look it up after the stream probably. But I think it's about time that I wrap it up because just look up a video on how to. Yeah. I'll try it. I'll turn it on just so we have like a little mini Reddit. I think that's the idea. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming. I'm gonna end off. I'll be on again if you want to keep chatting after the fact. Discord link is in the description. What the fuck is wrong with Connie's? Okay, I thought there was something crazy going on with Connie's legs. They're just crossed. Okay, that's normal. I had to zoom in a little bit for that, but they looked really strange from zoomed out. Just her arms and her... Yeah. But yeah. I'll end off on Connie's pretzel legs. And, yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping me company on this hot-ass fucking Saturday. Where it's like 90-some degrees out by this point. And I hope everyone's excited for the mid-season finale on Wednesday. Mirror Gem. Unless you're on Patreon, in which case you already got to see that one. In which case, I hope you're excited for Ocean Gem on Patreon the week after that. All right, bye everybody. Bye, bye, bye.